So hello devs, hope you all are doing pretty well. So today we are going to see our third video which we left on that particular day. So our third video is basically based on creating the frame which we have left. So in this video what basically we are going to do is that we are going to create a frame so that we can access the screen of our server side, or you can say our second system in our screen. So for that reason we are going to create a frame. So let's see our coding part which we left earlier. This is the class CreateFrame where we are going to pass C socket width and height. Okay, so likewise we are going to do it here. So let's start our coding. So class CreateFrame, and which is going to extend here because everything is based on threads, because each and every time thread will be connected to the server. So that's why we are going to extend thread. Let's delete this and define a string, because for the frame what we want, what is our requirement? Our requirement is one is width and one is height. So first of all we will define a string width and we will initialize it like nothing, null you can say. This is actually empty string, not null. Private JFrame, something will give okay. So after that what we are going to do, we are going to use JDesktop pane. Okay, so we'll write everything, we'll make it as a private JDesktop pane. Okay, new JDesktop pane. Now as usual socket we want internal frame new J internal frame, and in that what we are going to do, like we will give server screen. This is our server screen. Okay, and it is going to ask for 4 parameters which will pass as true, true and true. So why we are going to use this J internal frame? So since we are going to use server side screen, so there might be a small screen which is inside the desktop screen. Okay, so we are going to get that thing in our J internal frame. That's why we are using this J internal frame. So now the most important thing is like why we are giving this 4 parameter for this J internal frame. So this is for, as usual I have given the server name. So see here, what is this? E client CreateFrame is there. So likewise it is going to display you a server screen. Okay, so there we are going to write server screen. After that this 4 parameter is basically going to handle like if there is a minimize button, close button or maximize button, everything is there or not. So we are going to set it as true. Okay, fine. So let's come and we'll write our another thing, private jpanel. We'll make a jpanel cpanel. Jpanel cpanel. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a frame. Like we are going to, now what we are going to do, we are going to create constructor for that, because from here what we are going to pass in the CreateFrame socket width and height. So likewise we are going to pass 3 things here also, we are going to create 3 things here also. So we'll give our constructor public CreateFrame, and first, what is our first parameter is socket. So we'll pass socket C socket, and after that what we have given width and height. So string, here we have declared width and height for that string, so that's why we are going to pass it here also. String width, sorry, string height. Okay, now this dot w width this dot width equal to width, and this dot height equal to height. Now socket, this dot C socket equal to C socket, I guess we have written C socket. Now what we are going to do, we are going to invoke our start method, okay, from this constructor itself. So till now what we have done, we have created the J desktop pen, which is going to represent our main container that will contain all connected client screen, and apart from that J internal frame, as I told you, it is going to contain the small Windows screen which is having this 4 parameter which I explained you. And after that we are going to create this constructor in which everything is going to be initialized, and then we are going to start our thread. Okay, now let's write the method for starting our GUI screen for each and every connected client. So public void, we are going to draw GUI for that. Public draw GUI frame, where is our frame? So this is our J frame which we have created, and initialization also happens there itself. The frame dot, what we are going to add in that frame, first of all desktop, okay, because desktop pen we have already initialized it here, so we are going to use that desktop here. And after that what we have to add somewhat more thing, so we will give border layout, okay, which will be in center. So border layout dot center. Now again frame, so now we'll give default close operation. So for that what we'll write, frame dot set default close operation, okay, and J frame dot exit on close, exit on close. Now what we have to do, now first of all at the time of loading we will show the extended size of frame, like frame should be in a maximized state. So for that reason we are going to write frame dot set extended state, okay. Now what we will write, frame dot set extended state, and at the same time what we want, JFrame dot maximized both, you can say if you have to see maximized screen, then you have to use this thing. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to set the visibility as true, set visibility as true. Now we are having interframe also, so for that interframe what we are going to do, we are going to set the layout because it should be inside the main frame. So interframe dot set layout, and for this layout we'll give like new border layout. First of all, layout will set border layout. Now interframe dot set content frame dot add C panel, and what should be our layout? Border layout, border layout, where it should be in center. Okay, so where this interframe is going to show you the screen of server, so in the center. Okay, fine. Now we'll set the size for this interframe. So interframe dot set size. What will be the size? We'll give like 100 and 100. Anything you can give accordingly. Desktop, no. For the desktop, what we are going to do, in the desktop we are going to add our interframe. So everything is there in our desktop. Okay, so what we have done till now is like we have done our desktop coding. After that we have created frame and then interframe. We have passed interframe in our desktop. We have added everything in our desktop because that desktop is like this much and interframe will be like this much. Okay, so let's come, and what we'll do, so initially what we'll do, we'll show the internal frame as a maximized version. Okay, for the maximize. So for that reason we are going to do try and catch. We'll use, so try now interframe dot set maximum as what? As true. So we have set our interframe as a maximum, at maximum. Now catch. So for catch, which type of exception it is going to give? Like one exception is their property way to exception. Okay, so we are going to use property v2 exception. Okay, e will give exception. So property v2 exception is going to do what? I will tell you. So why we are using this property v2 exception is like, suppose if you are doing some changing, if you are subjected towards any change in your internal frame, then this value is gonna unacceptable by your server side. So that time this exception will arise. So we are going to handle this exception, and what we are going to print, like ex.print a stack trace, because so many times I told you why we are using this. Print a stack trace. Okay, so now for allowing us to handle the key listener event, what we have to provide, we have to provide C panel dot, first of all set focusable and then visibility. So set what? True. We are going to provide it as true, and then after that what is that? Interframe that visibility we are going to make it as true. Okay, so here we are good to go. After that what we have to do? Now what we have to do, we have to start our run method, because we have started our thread in the constructor. So for that reason we have to give run method. So why this run is not coming? So I guess, okay, so one thing we have done mistake here, we have to cut this code and we have to paste it inside this GUI, draw GUI itself, which we are not doing at that time. Yeah, so all look good. Now public void will give run, and then what we have to do, we have to read the screenshot from that side. We have to read the screen. So for that reason what we have to use? Input stream. Okay, input stream, input equal to what will give, like initially we will start from null because we are not having any. Now what we will do, we will start our GUI. Already we have created GUI with the method of draw GUI. So what we'll do, after means if we will read the screen, then we will start the GUI. So draw GUI will call, and then we will take the input stream in our in. So for this we are going to use try and catch block, because this is related to input stream and output stream. So okay, so we have forgot to give our importing details. So let us try to give import statement. Okay, first of all we will write this try and catch block, and then we will give that import statement. So in equal to, what we are going to do, we are going to get from C socket, because from the socket only we are going to get the stream. So get input stream, STREAM. So get input stream. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll catch the exception in the form of IO exception. This will be IO exception E. Now E dot print stack trace as usual we will give, and after that, after this try and catch, what we have to do, we have to start receiving the screenshot. So for that, new, we will create a class for this. So what class we can give, where we are going to write the code for receiving the screen. In that receive screen, what we will do, in that receive screen we will pass this input stream, and then okay, we will pass this panel. See, panel will pass, not socket. Okay, so we'll start receiving the screen. For this reason we have created a new receiving screen class. So after that, what we have to do, we have to send some event. If we'll do any activity in our screen, in the client screen, then it must have to be received by server. So server in the sense second computer. So for that reason, what we'll do, we will create another class of send event. Okay, so we'll again initialize this. So send events. Okay, so we are going to create this thing, and in that we will provide a socket, and then same panel, and width, and then height. So we'll do this much of thing. Now we will import our all the packages. So first of all, what we are going to use, we have used our JFrame. Okay, so for JFrame and all, we will use import javax dot swing dot JFrame. Okay, and same we'll write again, put java.swing dot J internal frame we are using now, and then J panel we are using. Okay, desktop pane also we have to use. Okay, so import java dot get. So import java dot io dot stream, and for exception, what exception we have used here, property v2 exception we have used. Just copy it and try to write it here. Import this one too. Import java dot where this is present in beans dot property v2 exception, and AW package we have to import because of that layout which we have used. So import java dot awt dot border. So at last we have to use our zip package also, because this is used for compressing and decompressing of the data which we are going to receive from our server side, and this is also used for reading and writing of the zip files. So import java dot, which is present inside util zip dot star. Okay, so I hope we have to create two more classes which I have given it here. So receiving screen and send events. So for that reason I am going to create another class which is like class receiving screen, class receiving screen. We'll write some coding in the latter part, and let's save it as the name suggested, receiving screen dot java. Okay, another class. What is that class name? From where we are going to send the event, with the activity which we are going to perform in our screen, or you can say client screen, is going to be monitored in our server screen. So for that reason we are going to create send event class. So class send event, and then same process of coding, we'll write it in later part. Let's save it, send event dot java. So this is it for CreateFrame class, and if you really like this video, please give a big thumbs up so that I can be motivated, and please share it with your friends. And if you have not done subscribing it, so please go there and click the red button below for subscribing. Thank you guys. We'll see the receiving screen and send event class. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching my video.